Welcome to the Soma Moon Wellness Podcast. Soma Moon Wellness is an online education and movement platform for women. I'm Jeanetta Bodie, co-founder of Soma Moon and a pelvic health yoga therapist. This space is for better conversations about women's health, honoring real bodies, real seasons of life, and sustainable ways of caring for yourself through movement and education. Welcome to our corner of the wellness world. This week's podcast was inspired by an idea I had last summer about sharing stories of becoming her. The woman we see down the road, the version of ourselves we know we're growing into, but it took me a while to figure out how to bring those stories into the world. A lot of times when we tell stories about growth, we get pulled into everything we had to overcome. And while that matters, it also can pull us into an overly reflective place that keeps us stuck in the past. So what I'm interested in right now is the question, who are you becoming today? What is happening in your life right now that is shaping the woman you're stepping into? Today, I'm sitting down with my friend Nicole Vienneau, who owns the restoration room here in East Tucson. Last week, I had a chance to speak at your Lunch and Learn, and I continue to fall in love with this space and the community that you're building. And in the spirit of sharing stories of incredible women doing meaningful work in our city, I wanted to create a place where we can support each other and have the kinds of conversation that actually help women grow. So Nicole, welcome.
Yay. Thank you so much for having me here. And I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Oh, thank you. I would love to just start by asking you the question, what does the restoration mean to you and what is it meant to be in our community?
The restoration room is numerous things. So for me, the restoration room is a place where women who are moving into different stages of their lives can come and explore themselves instead of taking care of everyone else. So we offer a lot of different opportunities for women to do that, from movement to sound healing to Reiki to women's circles to full moon ceremonies to arts and crafts to dancing to anything that we can dream up. We want to bring to the restoration room. It's also a place where holistic practitioners can come and share their gifts as well. So a place where it's easy to work with the owner. That's me. It's easy to schedule your event or workshop or class or retreat or whatever it is that you're dreaming of. Because one of the things I found moving here to Tucson was that it was difficult to find a spot for me, for myself as a healing practitioner, to come into and to work with that owner and make it easy for me to be able to provide what I wanted to offer to the community. So that's pretty much what Restoration Room is in a nutshell.
Yeah, it is easy to work with you. That's how I found you as we were getting ready to do a yoga teacher training. And I just wanted somewhere different and beautiful. I called you, went down there, and it was easy. And I just fell in love with it. You really, truly do have the gift of hospitality. More than anybody I've ever met, you just exude that in this way you have thought so intentionally of how to set the space up and the energy that moves in the space, different rooms. It's a small space, but it doesn't feel small when you're there. It's incredible.
Well, thank you for seeing that and feeling it because that's really important to me. It's been really important as I was creating the vision for what this would be. It's morphed and it's generated its own energy as it's gone along. But it has been very intentional. It has been thoughtful. I want a safe, nurturing space. So even the people that come, their energy is coming into the space. They too feel that just by the surroundings. And then for just the intention of the space of, oh gosh, I get to care for myself now.
Yeah.
What? I've raised my kids, I had my family, my career. And oh my gosh, you're asking me to actually focus on me now? Like, what does that even mean? And so that whole process and that whole adjustment into a new phase of life is really important. And we want to be stewards of the understanding that us women, we're so powerful. We lead the way for our families, for our communities. And yet sometimes we find it real difficult to focus in on what we need and what our real true purpose is in life. And that shifts as we age. And so Restoration Room is a space to just explore that. What does that even mean to me today?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you come in as a participant and that's such a new experience, what have you noticed in maybe the withholding or the inability to do that and watching those layers come off and being able to receive? What has your experience been with that?
Yes, it's done with a gentleness. First off, when people come into the space, as all your listeners know, as all of us know, coming into a new space, you've never been there, you've driven, you can't find it, whatever it is, and finally you get there and you're supposed to be there at that certain time. There's all that anxiety, that wishing you had been there earlier, blah, 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 all the stories that we create. And then when you step in, what I see right away is like, oh my gosh, this space is so beautiful.
Mhm.
It's so calming. It's so welcoming. We make a pot of tea. We have slippers.
Mhm.
The intention is to just arrive. Don't rush anymore. We don't need to rush. It doesn't matter if you're a few minutes late. It just doesn't matter. Just come in and feel at ease. So that's a first layer
Mhm.
because just
Yeah,
arriving is really
yeah,
hard for a lot of people,
it
right?
is.
Yeah. We generally start a lot of our programming with breath or with landing, with coming into self. So a few breaths or whatever that might be. And I think it's best described with maybe one story. So let me tell a story.
Yeah.
One of our ladies came. It was the first time she got there. And she came in and she looked very unhappy. And she came to a sound bath. It happened to be my sound bath. So she came in, she found her space. She had the frown of, gosh, I wish I could turn that frown upside down, like from a practitioner standpoint.
Mhm.
And at the same time, I know through my own work that that's not mine. That's not my story.
Yes,
So,
yes.
and I can hold space for her. She grumbled in and got her place set, and just welcomed her with love and compassion and sent that to her through the whole sound bath. Through the sound bath, her facial expression didn't change much. And I said, well, that's okay because she is here. We embrace her, we welcome her in. And I thought, after the sound bath, she didn't really say much to me, but I thought, well, she's not coming back.
Hmm. Yep, have had those moments
Yeah,
before.
right. And I was so wrong. I was so wrong. I tried to stay out of that judgment, but it does happen. It happens for all of us. We can fall into that. But what happened for me and for her was that she came back
Mhm.
and she started to come to almost everything. Not only would she come to the events that were offered, she would come early and she would sit in the chair that we had in the front and she would sit and watch the birds or sit and just be at peace with herself. Or she would go into one of our rooms and she would hold a stone, or she would find the essential oils and she would come out with a spark and she'd say, have you smelled this essential oil? And I'd be like to myself, ooh, like
Yeah.
let's smell it together. Meanwhile, I'm the one who put it there. So yeah, of course I've smelled
Yeah.
that. But I was with her, and
Yeah.
sharing this joy, this new discoveries for her. Come to find out, she is a nurse and she worked in psychiatric medicine for much of her career. And every time she would come, I would learn something about her. And she started to open up. She started to share bits of her life and she started to talk to other people and new persons coming in. Her name is Gail. We'd use Gail. Gail, come talk to this new person, show her around, so she would be becoming part of something very special for her and for me too, because I got to know her. I was blessed to know her. And one day she signed up for something, but she didn't come. And I was like, what the heck? Where's Gail? And I'd ask the people, where's Gail? Oh, we don't know. So I call her and she didn't answer the phone. And I thought, well, she's busy. She was moving at that time. So I was like, okay, well, she's probably getting settled in her new space and she'll be back when she can. And then she never came back. Days went by. I texted, I called. She had moved, so I didn't even have her new space. I didn't know. I thought maybe she changed her phone number, all of those things. I just didn't know where she went. And I found out shortly after that, a couple weeks, almost 3 weeks after that, she had died.
Mm.
She passed away in her sleep. She had a cat, and I pictured her just at ease,
Mm.
sleeping with her precious kitty curled up beside her, and her just transitioning so gracefully and so peacefully. And I feel like I was a part of that.
Yeah. Yeah, you are.
Yeah, a special part. And it really touches my heart, even
Yeah.
just talking about her right now. And truthfully, I didn't know her that well. But it's just those moments of offering something that are special gifts that we each have within us. And someone sees those gifts and they want to be part of that and share in it. And they see that how it can help themselves. And then in turn, they
Yeah.
shift and
Yeah.
they start
Yeah.
sharing their gifts. And it's just like this continuous giving and receiving. And so that's just one story.
That's amazing. It really could
Yeah,
really give
I
me so
know.
a minute to wipe my tears. I think that just nails it right there. I don't know why I feel this about you, but maybe because I don't know you that well, but I feel like you have excess to give, like excess love. You know, when you come into a room with somebody, especially another woman, and you're like, man, that woman is grounded. Like she's okay. Like she doesn't need to take from me because she's filling her cup somewhere. I don't know where it is. I don't know her story, but I know that there's this sense of giving from the excess and not from depletion. And when we give from excess, it overflows into somebody else's cup who is depleted, who is empty. Man, I bet that woman had so many incredible stories of the people that she has served and given. And what an amazing opportunity for her to end her life here with us in such a beautiful space of rest. I love that for both of you and for anybody that goes into that space, because I feel that. I really do in your space. So well done. Well done to give.
Mm.
The other thought, the second part of that question that I had was this, as someone who has come in and been invited to teach in that space, the generosity of welcoming gifting and you being able to see that and invite me in to speak. I've never had an experience like that, Nicole. I need you to know that I've never had an experience because I'm transitioning out of, I have my own space and I'm responsible for the space and the teaching and the people. And it's so much. And so to be able to just come, to be invited to teach, to be invited to give from my excess without having to be responsible, it allowed me to show up differently. And I think that's something that you offer to teachers and to other people that have these gifts that they want to share. And I'd love to pick your brain on what your idea is to expand that or what your hope is for the restoration room in growing and sharing that opportunity with other people.
The seed of restoration room for me in my heart was my background.
Mm,
So my background is an intensive care nurse.
yeah.
So working in very high critical areas, protocol driven, very fast paced. You have to know what's going on with your patients every second of the day. And it is very consuming. And I saw a lot of death and dying and suffering and experienced many traumas. Some were expected and some were not. Those are part of me and who I am. And I did not understand at the time, that was about 18 years of doing intensive care. And then I went into some other areas within the nursing spectrum. But I didn't understand at the time how those experiences, the death, the dying, the suffering, some aggression, the different things that we experience within the healthcare environment would affect me. And I am self-proclaimed type A
I love it.
personality. I think any nurses who are listening out there know about intensive care nurses or
Yeah.
critical care nurses. We really are dedicated and we do an exceptional job in that role. But that can suck the life out of you if you're not
Mhm.
knowing. And I was not knowing at
Yeah.
that time. I was not knowing that the stories that people shared with me, the things that I saw, that I was witness to, the intimacy of the work. I was not prepared for how much that would affect my spirituality, my soul.
Hmm.
And I didn't know that the stories and all of that were not mine to keep,
Mm,
if that makes sense.
that does.
So I didn't know that, oh, I could release those and give them back to the universe, give them back to the patient. They weren't mine. But what happened was I kept them because I just didn't know what to do with them. I'd never learned anything like that. No one spoke of anything like this. And, as nurses, we know the environment we work in is we witness a death, and it can be a very traumatic death. And then that patient's body will be moved out, and we will receive another life form to care for
Mhm.
within sometimes 5 minutes.
Wow.
So there is no time to decompress or to discuss or to integrate or share what happened.
Yeah.
Many years of that,
Yeah.
right? Over time, I was just like, oh my gosh, I just became apathetic. Like I didn't care. And that's not true. I became so tired, anxious, thought about work the second I was done work. I mean, whew, that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, oh my gosh, what I didn't want to be was one of those nurses. They would call them Nurse Cratchit, those ones, that are just so hard, so hard. I didn't want to do that. So I thought, well, I'm just not cut out for nursing anymore. So I left. I got a job at the YMCA of all places and explored some wellness. I've been doing wellness all my life, all my nursing career. But what I discovered through that was that I was missing a component. Like we're so faceted, we have so many layers and so many gems within us that we sometimes forget about some pieces of us. And my spirituality was one of it. And I'm not talking about religion.
Yeah.
I'm talking about soul and connection to something greater. And so as I realized that, I started doing some work. I was like, oh my gosh, I can learn stuff. I can help myself. Oh my goodness, how can I do this? And just learning anything I could. So from meditation to more movement practices that were a little bit more grounded, because I was a runner, I was a really high energy and still am, but I needed things to ground myself a little bit more. So learning that and diving into sound, and I play crystal singing bowls and drums now, and all of those different modalities. I became a health coach now. So I do a lot of menopause related health coaching. And I'm a Reiki practitioner now. And like all of these things that I started to learn about more because I was interested, like, how can I help myself? And then ended up that I could actually help other people because of what I was learning and on my story. So as I started thinking about, okay, what do I want to do in my next chapters? Because this month I'm turning 55. So I thought, well, I would like to create the thing that I wish existed for me. And I thought about that. I was in Big Lots. People, I don't even know if you have a Big Lots.
We do.
Like we used to have that. They all closed. But I was in one of those stores and I saw this sign. It said, create the thing you wish existed.
Oh.
And I bought that sign.
Yes. Yes. Let it be.
And that sign is in Restoration Room now. It's in the hallway. And I was like, gosh, I want to create something that I can help other people with and they can help other people with. And we can all just do the helping together. Like it's not just me who's helping, it's everybody who's helping each other. And so what does that look like? And that's where this whole thing came to fruition. So when we talk about, and circling back to your question, which was helping practitioners come into the space, and I can't do this stuff by myself. I don't even want to be there every day. Even though I love to go there, I just love to be there by myself. But I don't want to do the work every day where it's only me and I'm the one grinding and then doing the behind the scenes of the business as well. But I want to be able to show up and be my fullest when I am offering something. So I've got to have other people come in if I want to have a space to buy toilet paper, pay the rent, all that stuff. So I've got to have some other people come in as well. When I was thinking about that, I was really looking for holistic practitioners, like who could fill these spaces and who wants to. Those are the people that I want. If you have a gift, if you have a dream, you want to start something, then I'm the place to do it at, because I want to help you do that too, because some are newer at what they're doing, or they just took a tapping class and they have benefited from that and they want to start teaching that, but they've never done it before. Okay, well, let's help you. So what does that look like? What do you want to offer? What are people going to expect from your class? What are things that you're going to do within that class? And we go through that. We develop something for them and help them through that process. And then they can be off and running, maybe, to do their first presentations and then showing up for that person at their first presentation, because they may not have a following yet. So it's like, well, I could learn tapping too. So it's kind of fun in that way. And then there's the other practitioners who've been around for a long time and now they're like, this is what I want to do. This is how much I'm going to charge. This is the description. Here's your image. Here's how they're going to sign up. And they just drop that in my lap. And I'm like, hell yeah. So that's really easy for me. And then that's another way. It was like, oh gosh, I could learn something from them too. So I think it's perpetual, never ending connection. And I want people to be elevated. I want, especially women, they want to do something. Let's help them do that, because they are so passionate about that one thing or 2 or 12. Let's elevate that and make it easy. And then invite women to come in and experience that with them.
You're so wise, Nicole. I wish I'd known you.
Thank you.
I'm listening to you. I'm like, oh my God, if I had conversations with you 5 years ago before I opened my studio, I would have done things differently. Because that's the thing. I went in and I had this idea. I know what I want it to look like. I know I want to contribute, but I had zero business training, zero finance training. That's
Yeah.
so often seen in teacher trainings is we get all the skills to teach, but we don't actually know how to present ourselves to the studios and we don't know how to present ourselves in a workshop and we don't know what to charge because then we get into identity issues of like, I'm not
Yeah.
worth and valued. And
Yeah.
having someone wiser that's done it a few times to be able to say like, hey, I just was talking to a gal the other day that asked me to come co-teach a retreat with her. And she was already by the end of the conversation giving me all of the funds from the retreat. I was like, no, 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 no. We do this together. In Soma, part of our vision is conscious collaboration. And it's this
Mm,
idea of like,
yeah.
I'm intentionally choosing to be in relationship with you. And when we
Yes.
do that, we both receive. We both contribute and we both receive. And I think so often as women that we just be like, I'll just give, I'll just give, I'll just
Mm,
give. And when you only give and you won't let yourself receive, you are stopping reciprocity from happening. You're stopping that energetic flow. And I see that and I feel that. And I have all these ideas coming into my brain of what I want to do. I want to finish with one last question, and it may be a little bit big, but because of your experience in the medical world and moving into wellness and how those are so different sometimes, and sometimes not, but sometimes it feels like we get into this medical and science and protocol and things have to be done, and then we avoid it and we get out of it and we move over to this wellness world where it's just free rogue, whoever you want to be. And that needs some boundaries as well.
mm,
And so what I am seeing and what I'm wanting is to see those two come together. And I don't know if you have a vision or an idea or thoughts. I look at everybody and I see the rogue group over here, this one that's like, I don't want the rules, I want the wellness, I want all of this over here. But honestly, the business model of that is bad. Most people in that group are poor, and I was one of them.
mm,
And it's unsustainable from a business model. And I've been talking with one of my friends. She's a GYN surgeon and she's overwhelmed. She is so busy. She has so much stuff going on and she is working so hard to make a difference in her environment and change, but she's so tired. I just believe that the bringing together of these two is going to happen by women because we know how to support one another, that we are doulas for each other in
mm,
life. And I'm just curious what your thoughts of what that looks like or what you envision or maybe what your hope is for something like that, and especially within your space.
mm. I feel lucky, but I don't feel that we are lucky
No.
because we have placed ourselves in different scenarios, sought out help, education, chose
Mhm.
different ways to do things that brought us to this point.
Yes.
So for me, I feel blessed. How about that? I feel
Yes.
blessed. I
Yeah.
feel blessed because I get to be in both worlds.
Yeah.
So I have the experience of being in a medical model, which taught me some very important lessons through my life. And I have this huge knowledge base. What I discovered is that knowledge base was not sustainable for the direction I wanted to go in. So for me, I call myself a holistic nurse.
That's
I
good.
no longer practice at the bedside, but I see, and nurses all feel this way, but some of us practice in a more holistic way. We see the human as in full wholeness, not just a heart that had a heart attack.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other things that have happened to the facets that ended up with a heart attack. If we don't address all of those pieces of the human, one piece can either excel or decline. Wouldn't it be great if we all just move forward as our true self
Yes.
and not hide or be shamed or feel like one part isn't as good or elevate other parts? If we could just move as a whole being, that would be helpful. I'm also blessed because I still am in the medical model in some ways. I have some contracts with local hospitals here where I go into the hospital and I get to be part of the newest nurses coming into the field. So I get to teach newer nurses mindfulness. and sound healing and stress reduction and food and movement and all the things that are wellness based. And I also be a coach for those nurses. So if they do experience those unexpected traumas, they can have someone who understands what that feels like or looks like, maybe not to their experience, but has felt that. You don't have to come to me and tell me as a nurse, okay, this happened with the heparin drip. And someone else would be like, what's a heparin drip? Well, I already know what that is. So you don't even have to explain all the details. Let's get to the energetic of this situation and how you can help yourself move forward. So I'm just a listener. I hold space. I ask a lot of I think they're great questions. I ask questions that are really going to help expand and elevate and help them see their own strengths so that they can move beyond some of these traumas that they experience. So I get to be in the medical model. And what it's taught me still is I don't want to go back to that work. I don't want to be at the bedside anymore. That's just not where I'm going. That's not what my purpose is now. My purpose is to help nurses move forward in the way that they see themselves being able to move forward, but with tools that can actually help them where I didn't have any of that before. So I do see a disconnect with the medical model and the wellness models kind of clashing. I see that because arrive at one of the wellness components within the new grad residencies. And I do this with physicians as well. They're both similar. And some people will look at me like I have antennae and five eyes because they think it's what we call woohoo. But really, there's a lot of science to support all of these wellness components. There's so much science, and I could tout it off. That's my blessing is I have the science background, so I can speak science and connect the wellness to the people who are maybe discrediting it because they don't believe there is science. But there is a lot of science to support almost everything that we see as wellness today. I think it's pretty cool to have that opportunity to help physicians and to help nurses see that. That then moves the needle when they're at the bedside. They can be more authentic to who they are instead of trying to practice like someone else does or facing imposter syndrome or all the things that can happen. Yeah, I do see a disconnect. And it's not because of not wanting to have wellness be more elevated or more ingrained into the medical model. I think it's because of the business model of the medical model. So the business model is the very, very fast paced outpatient visits, 10, 15 minutes. You better know what you're going to ask because all you got is 10, 15 minutes. And there is no time for a wellness practitioner or for the provider, whether it's a nurse or whether it's the physician or nurse practitioner, to be able to teach anything or say, what are you hoping for in your visit today? What is your vision of wellness? What does that look like for you? There's no time because you don't have time. So it's not for lack of want, it's for lack of time. And that's where I feel like we can make a bigger difference and a bigger impact as wellness practitioners, is maybe linking up with certain practitioners who you could connect with and say, this is what I do offer. And these are the things we're doing. And these are some of the success stories that I have to share with you if you can get them to stop and talk. But because wellness doesn't happen in a hospital. It'll never even start there. It doesn't start there. It's at home. When you're in your own routine and you're doing your own things, that is where wellness is. And I could talk about this all day.
Yes. I have so many more things I want to ask you. I'll be turning 39 this year. And so many of my conversations with women around health and wellness and menopause is, just wait and see. Oh, it's going to be terrible when you get there. Oh, it's going to be these things. And it's just so disheartening for somebody to see down the road and everybody's miserable and everybody's complaining and everybody's unhappy. And I just thank you. Thank you for being such a wise woman that has full of grace and compassion for us. To thank you for what you do, Nicole. It matters. It's good.
Well, we all have our own stories,
We do.
I think giving ourselves self-compassion and understanding and our own grace, like, gosh, there's so many things and mistakes, things I've done wrong or mistakes I've done in my life. And there was a time where I didn't forgive myself. And now is a good time. And any time is a good time to start. And just acknowledging what you feel and what you sense and know that it is what it is. And it's okay to say you're wrong. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to take rest. It's okay. You are okay.
It is. Mm, what a good way to end. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you for giving me your time and for being here. Anything you want to share about where to get in touch with you and any
Yes.
final words?
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. If you would like to see what we're doing at Restoration Room, you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook. It's just Restoration Room Tucson. And then, of course, we have a website, which is restorationroom.org. And if you would love to get in touch with me personally, you can just email me. It's Nicole, Nicole, at restorationroom.org.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, thanks for spending time with us today. For everybody that's listening, if this conversation supported you, you can explore our whole library. It's funny that you said this. It's called The Whole Self because that's where we
Yay!
believe that you need to start.
Yes.
So, if this conversation supported you and you want to explore some more classes, you can find those at somamoonwellness.com and the Restoration Room. Please go check out Nicole's schedule. Her space is amazing. And as for us, our work is created to meet you where you are right now. Take what is useful, leave the rest, and care for yourself in a way that honors your whole self. Be well, be loved, be blessed. Namaste, my friends.